What do some of your other physicians, Marvin, say about some of your work, your research, your studies, your recommendations?
They commend me on it. I mean, I was at UCLA for 20 years, and most of my colleagues look up to me. I mean, they like what I'm doing. I mean, I've moved away. I mean, I'm thinking outside the box, and I'm looking at life differently, and they commend me for it. A lot of them say, God, I wish we could follow in your footsteps.
What does this tell you about mainstream medicine? The fact that, you had to break away to do what you did. Should they be looking more at these alternative sources?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think physicians are now more open to it. When I broke away in 90, I started breaking away in 89. That was a long time ago, 20 years ago. I think they're now looking. You find more naturopathic medicine, more integrative medicine. There are physicians now who advertise integrative medicine. Integrative means you're bringing together a composite, like a food is a composite. You're bringing all this knowledge from different fields, and you're using it in an integrated approach. I call it an adaptogen. One of the people asked earlier, why mushrooms? And they have adaptogens. And I was thinking about that during the commercial breaks. You asked me earlier, why mushrooms? How are they different? And I think mushrooms have lived, mushrooms are almost 200 million years of age. And they come in different environments. And they have adapted to life and evolution. And that's why they have all mushrooms from different areas, whether Tibet or Mongolia or Japan, have different adaptogens to life. And we have to seek them out to see which ones will prevent certain diseases, and that's what we're doing.
All right, back to the calls we go. Sharon in Litchfield, Connecticut. Hey, Sharon, go ahead, hon.
Hi. Actually, I have a quick comment and then a question.
Of course.
Actually, I'll start off with a question. I was wondering, Marvin, if you've done any studies with these mushrooms for the treatment of whole body edema related to, smoldering infection, inflammation, because that seems to be a lot of people with whole body edema. I think that it's being often derived from inflammation and capillaries leaking fluid into the tissues, and I'm wondering if somebody really has a serious water retention because of inflammation, whether this could actually put a dent in it.
We've never studied that, so I can't answer that directly. All I can say is that you've described an inflammatory response that's generalized. And so if you think about our gum disease study, that's an inflammatory response that's localized to the mouth. Why shouldn't the same principles apply to the general body? And you lose nothing by taking a mushroom supplement. You can look at the mushroom supplements on our website at Newflex Online, and you don't lose anything by trying it. They're whole foods. What do you lose? If someone told you to buy a car and write a check, you're going to get in the car and drive it. You're not going to believe the guy sold you the car. Same thing with life. You have to try things. As long as they don't hurt you, then you'll see how you feel.
How do you think these mushrooms could compare with something like fish oil? I know that when I ran out of fish oil a few weeks ago, I had no idea how much I was missing it. And I ended up with bleeding gums until I got my fish oil again. And I was wondering, is it, as potent?
Well, you just were a classic example of what I've been talking about. We talked about fish oil, the omega-3s. And I said earlier when George asked me a question, what is my lifestyle? I said I take omega-3s with the mushrooms because I find that they make them more bioavailable. And here we did the mushroom study with bleeding gums in horses without the omega-3s, and maybe would have even been more potent with the omega-3s. Mm-hmm. So you're right on the money. You're doing the right thing. And the first thing is you should let your body be your guide. Don't listen to anything but yourself, and you'll know when you feel better.
Could I feel better if I took the mushrooms, even though I'm getting tons of anti-inflammatories?
You'll only know by trying it. As I said, these people have increased hair growth. Why? They don't know that they're nutritionally deficient. I don't know they're nutritionally, but why would they have increased hair growth by adding a mushroom formula? It means that something is in the mushrooms that they're not getting from other foods.
A balding cure.
I'm sorry?
A balding cure, maybe?
You won't Well, this is a study we did in women. You will find that women respond better than men to areas of balding, and that is a problem that's ongoing. We just released a product called Grow, Groh, and it has certain mushrooms that activate the hair follicle with better nutrition. And it's on our website, mushroomsolutions.com.
Wonderful.
And we have a mushroom solution for hair growth. But men who have lost the hair follicle, once the hair follicle is dead, it won't come up again. So that's where prevention comes in. You have to start good nutrition early on. But we've noted that women who have baldness spots and have, you're very concerned about your eyelashes and your eyebrows, that they're coming back as if the hair follicles are still there. They're sleeping, and we seem to be waking them up with good nutrition.
Amazing. You know what's also amazing? It seems like remedies and cures are on this planet already. You just have to find them.
Well said.
Let's go to Bill, truck driving in Kentucky, first-time caller. Hey, Bill, thanks for calling.
Hey, George. Dr. Hausman, how y'all doing tonight?
Good.
I'm doing great. How's the weather in Kentucky?
Right now it's a little chilly, but clear anyway. My question is about MRSA. Can vitamin D, mushrooms and stuff like that, can that help, deter MRSA or maybe get rid of it or something like that?
Yeah, there's a couple of people who've been on our study have MRSA. That's a terrible infectious problem.
Sure is.
We have one lady who has MRSA. She got injured in her leg, and we weren't doing a study. She just started taking the mushrooms because of the anti-inflammatory, and she'd been on antibiotics for the last 2 years, and the MRSA never went away. And now I haven't seen her, and I haven't seen pictures, but she called me the other day and says the MRSA is gone, and that when she stops the mushrooms after about 2 or 3 months, it comes back, but she starts again, it goes away. So MRSA never really disappears from your body, but this is an example of nutrition controlling it.
If you had a friend who had cancer, what would you tell them? What would you recommend? To take mushrooms?
Well, yeah, because we have evidence, not just my own, but I think there was a study by the United States government on organic selenium in prostate cancer. And the only two places you can get organic selenium is in yeast or mushrooms. Those are the only two biologic foods that can manufacture. They take inorganic selenium and make organic selenium. And we also know that organic selenium is good in breast cancer for women. Vitamin D is good for breast cancer in women. We think that maybe vitamin D2 might be a little bit better, but we're not sure. No one's ever done a complete study there. But there is no question that there are nutritional components out there that would be good as anti-cancerous agents. In fact, there's a particular mushroom from Tibet called Cordyceps. There's two types, Cordyceps sinensis and Cordyceps militaris. And people in Tibet and China swear by them as anti-cancer agents.
Okay, back to the phones we go. John, truck driving in Tennessee, east of the Rockies. Go ahead, John.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I just have a quick question. About 15 years ago, a lady asked me to help her move a sofa inside of her house. Anyway, she got to talking about this mushroom that she has growing in her refrigerator inside of a bowl about the size of a plate. Now, underneath it, it had a smaller mushroom about the size of a saucer, and she called it the baby. Now, I don't know what kind of fluid this thing was growing in, but she would drink the liquid around the mushroom. And I just wondered if the doctor has ever heard of anything like this.
Yeah, I mean, mushrooms will grow like hydroponics. You can grow them on water. You can grow plants on water. That's the hydroponic cultivation of plants and mushrooms. And there are groups in Taiwan that do this, and they grow it mainly on hydroponics. We grow them on oats and rice. And when you grow them on oats and rice, the mushrooms with their active enzyme systems metabolize what's in the oat or the rice. And the same thing with the water. You can drink it. There are people who do that. I'd like to add a concept that realize, George and our guests, that you can't have a green plant without a mushroom. That green plants have root structures, but they can't dissolve what's in the soil. They can only absorb what the mushrooms have created in the soil. So the mushrooms are really one of the major components of the ability of plants to grow.
Okay, very good. Next up, we go to Anthony in Santa Barbara, California, west of the Rockies. Go ahead, Anthony.
Dr. Hausman, I wanted to express my gratitude for all the good work that you've been doing, say thank you, And then I had two simple questions. One is, did you discover any other foods besides the mushrooms that help cure the gum disease? And then my second question is, what's a good vitamin D source at the food, like if I go to a health food store?
Sure, two excellent questions. We're looking at turmeric and curcumin from India to combine, and cinnamon to look at their anti-inflammatory capacity. So most of the research that I'm telling you is only recent, so we need more time. And as I mentioned earlier, we're doing an Alzheimer project now in these fruit fly models, so we're going to be able to report that shortly. In answer to your other question, there are two types of vitamin D. D3, which is animal-based, and that's made from lanolin. I don't like that too much when you think of sheep wool grease. And they extract it, they take the basis for the vitamin D3 out, they expose it to light, and then it produces inactive vitamin D3, the pro-hormone. The other area that I'm interested in particularly is vitamin D2, which is induced inside the food. So Penn State University, which we work with, has created a light that within 1 to 4 seconds can increase vitamin D2 naturally within the food, in the mushroom, by 1,000% in less than 1 second. And we can increase it to that we can, in one capsule, give you your daily dose of vitamin D, for example, equal to 10 glasses of milk in 2 capsules of mushroom powder. Think of that, 10 glasses of milk in 2 capsules of mushroom powder. So there's a lot of new developments in this field.
Okay, great. Next up, we go to Fremont, Nebraska. Hi, David. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Okay, great.
George, you have an awesome show, as always.
Thank you.
Dr. Hausman, you spoke extensively about vitamin D. Can you speak a little bit about vitamin C as far as fighting off flu viruses and keeping your immune system? And also, one quick question, or if you could please make a quick comment about what you think the benefits of honey can do for you. And thank you. I'll take my answer off the air.
That was honey. Honey?
Honey.
Yeah,
Bee honey, sure.
Bee honey.
First of all, vitamin C was synthesized by Dr. St. Georgi in 1937. He won the Nobel Prize. When he passed on, and I hope I'm quoting him correctly, he thinks the worst thing he did was synthesize vitamin C, and you could check it out on Google, because he created a commercial entity called vitamin C, and there was no more scurvy. And then Linus Pauling came along and said, oh, this is great against the flu and the cold, but the government recently showed that you need mega doses of vitamin C to have any effect. You have to take huge amounts, because most of vitamin C is then passed out through your kidney and your urine. Vitamin C does have a role. It is an antioxidant, but I don't think you're going to see the same antiviral capacities. If I was taking vitamin C, I would add it to the mushroom powder, because it will be more active with the mushrooms. In answer to your question about honey, there's unbelievable value in honey. People are now studying this because that's one of the basic foods of life for the bumblebee. And that's a law of nature. Why is he doing this? Or he or her, I don't know how to distinguish between a female and male bumblebee, but why do bees create honey? And when you look at them, there are tremendous antioxidants and bionutrients in honey.
Okay, very good. Next up, we go to Lake Tahoe, California. We've got time for 1 or 2 more callers. Go ahead, James.
Yes. Hi, Dr. Hausman. I heard you mention the mangosteen, and I understand that there's tremendous anti-inflammatory qualities in the xanthos. Have you done any research on that?
No, but I've read a lot about it. If you want to use mangosteen, you should take the whole entity where it's produced. I don't think the extracts of mangosteen are as potent. That's my own feeling. It's a personal preference, but mangosteen has antioxidant capacity, but you shouldn't use the extract or the synthetic. You should take the whole enchilada.
The whole puree with the rind and the whole.
That's it. You put it in a smoothie, grind it up, and that's what. Why did nature make mangosteen? Did it make it to be extracted, or did it make it to be consumed as a food?
Yep. Very good. That's what I thought. Very good. Thank you, Dr. Hausman.
You're welcome.